In this video, I'm taking popular and iconic LEGO video game characters and turning them into cursed monstrosities to go inside my LEGO arcade. And they only get more cursed as we go on. Starting with the least cursed video game, Frogger. I love this little cabinet. It's not cursed at all. This little frog Mario hat came in clutch for the top of that. I guess the only thing cursed is like the varying levels of frogs that I used. The half asleep Chris variety. This is like Thor Frog with some cool capes, and then Kermit with a gun. And this is all that's left of the road that I used to simulate Frogger in real life. I painstakingly stop-motioned all these little cars based on Emmett's car from the Lego movie, moved them itty-bitty little bits about, all of them, took a picture, moved them all again. It took forever. And then I did the river thing with like the logs and the alligators, which turned into cursed like Gator Man. What is this guy's name? Killer Croc? And so this whole production probably took me the third longest out of all the ones in the video, which we'll get to some longer ones later. But Tetris was probably the quickest one to simulate. I love these little Tetronimo guys. They were so fun to build, so fun to work with, so easy to just animate them quickly, and it turned into a very satisfying scene because I did have to cheat with some of these extra green ones. I made a big deal of like, oh yeah, these purple ones are only in this set, but I didn't actually realize I only had 4 of these. But you could build all sorts of shapes and stuff. Some of the shapes, of course, are cursed. That's just gonna be a given. But I made them 5 plates tall, which is the exact width of a brick, until you're able to use them in a 3D space because they have the same dimensions. So that made for a lot of cool things. I did steal some of these pieces for some builds coming up, so don't worry about that. But I could sit and play here with these things all day long. Whack-a-mole was originally going to be a lot more cursed than it ended up being. I have the remnants of the simulation here with these arches that I had to use some weird geometry. I think all these arches on the bottom are like completely upside down to make these round holes that are just the right size. How did I even do it? This way for a Chip and Dale to fit if you like tilt them right. That was very frustrating to like, I filmed myself sticking their heads out of each individual hole and then like composite it all together. It was a mess. But I also filmed the glitch mutating them into the Looney Tunes they turned into in the original Robot Factory video, but I ended up just deciding that hitting them with a mallet with this Candace Flynn minifigure was more than enough. Yes, it's a Phineas and Ferb reference, and yes, LEGO absolutely needs to do a Phineas and Ferb CMF line. Please. There's nothing really cursed about ice hockey, and the only thing cursed about Pirate's Booty was the time it took me to build it. But it is very satisfying now that it is working. You can crank the crank. How does it go? Crank the crank this way, and it pushes the pusher. I just love this thing now. I didn't love building it, but I love it now that it's working. Come on. There we go. But this game, which I based on RJ and Brick's LEGO Ideas project, was cursed because the simulation I was going to do for it was the cars thing. I wanted to do a LEGO Cars with LEGO Lightning McQueen being me and LEGO Chick Hicks being RJ. But apparently LEGO hates money because they've never made a Chick Hicks minifigure. Like, what? And even more unfortunately, my LEGO Lightning McQueen's minifigure was in a terrible, terrible accident. I got home from church one night and found that 12 of my sorted bins had crashed down to the floor and all mixed together. And Lightning McQueen was inside Mac, which was on top of the bins, and he got destroyed in the process. That was a mess to clean up. It took so long, set me back so far in this video. But shout out to my dad who came and helped sort some of them that night, and then also my mom the next day. It was a multiple day thing, so very, very thankful for them. Okay, it's been too long since we've had something that's actually cursed. Let's move on to Cubert. I adore this little guy. He's got minifigure flippers as feet, this Technic connector as a big old mouth, and then a combination of brackets to build up his body. He honestly already looks cursed enough already, but I don't know if I saw any comments pointing out his even more cursed glitched mutation, so there you go. And then I built this whole thing for him. This is just like the level map from Cubert, which I stole these tiles from the Tetris thing, but it's like built solid. It did not need to go this hard on it, and it uses the same cube technique as in the Tetronimo. But you just hop from step to step. It's so cool. Wait, we can put the Tetronimos on it. Oh, it fits. Hold on. This is so incredible. I just discovered that now. But anyway, this was obviously based on the level on the screen here. And this machine was based on the one from the Pac-Man set. Most of the machines had this general design. Some are smaller, some were bigger, but most were some variation of the Pac-Man shape with something on top potentially to differentiate them. But that's not why you clicked on this video. You wanted to see this guy. This is the cursed giant Pac-Man thing with teeth. That's kind of my secret. Pretty much just adding teeth to anything makes it look more cursed. And this guy's got like levels of teeth. He's got one in the front here, and then some along like the middle of his mouth, and then 2 in the front. So that just makes it like terrifying bite from all angles. Well, maybe not this one. And I wanted to keep normal Pac-Man intact from the really cool Pac-Man set. So I had to, instead of using these pieces from that, I had to break Bowser's kneecaps to get, I think, 8 total of these corner pieces. And I guess the 6 from the this one wouldn't have even been enough anyways. But anyways, the eyes are just circular. He looks so much happier. I wonder if I could take all the teeth out and the eyebrows, because this is just a wedge plate that you put on this angle, and then the eyes look so much eviler. But hold on. Oh, wow. He looks like an old man who forgot to put his dentures in that day. I guess normal Pac-Man doesn't even have an eye. This might make it even worse. Honestly, that's not bad. Like, this looks the least cursed out of all of them so far. And it has the cool function of actually opening and closing mouth. And the dying animation, you can do that too, just completely organically. I didn't have to modify it at all. Sorry, I got distracted there. I was meaning to show all the complicated techniques that went into building this, so you could try to build this at home if you wanted to. It's built with like so many sideways techniques. So like the top of this mouth here is built with sideways using this inverted slope piece to get that shape, and like this stair step of plates to get the teeth all in a row to match that angle. But then these double tall snot bricks came in clutch for all the different wonky angles. We've got one of them here connecting the eye and the shaping, one of them connecting them to the top, and then one of them, what even is this? Oh, that just smooths things out at the base here. And I did use some tape to add a little bit more stability. I'm not afraid to admit it. Because I was doing a lot of stop motion, I didn't care enough about it being 100% pure Lego to make the frustration worth it. So it doesn't absolutely need it because it's still connected at the top here, but this locks it in at the bottom. And it gives it a nice clean fit when you close it right there. This clip here is how the mouth segments are connected. We've got a clip here attached to the main body, if you can call it that, and then a bar attached to the very bottom of this mouth. And it sets such the clean angle, so like there's very, very little gaps. Honestly, the only gaps here are covered by all the plates and stuff we put on top of it. And then what's going on in here? I don't think this is as complicated. We've got these corner pieces from Bowser, and a bunch of these pieces. I pretty much exhausted my supply. Okay, yeah, literally just some snot bricks going either direction for the body. But as I mentioned, I did a lot of stop motion with this guy, and the set piece I made for that stop motion was one of my favorite segments in any video I've made because it was filmed in the dark, and I used a bunch of these glow sticks as pretty much the only light source, which created so many cool reflections of the light bouncing off of the figures in Pac-Man and the black walls of the maze. Unfortunately, I already took the maze apart, but there is this clip of the insane setup I had going on with the darkness, and I even use like computer screens as a little bit of artificial blue light. But as you can see on video, it's not ideal to show these glow sticks. Like, it looks okay, but it doesn't look as it is in the video. For that look with like the bright shiny lights, I needed long exposure photos. I don't know enough about filming and stuff to do that with video, so what I had to do is take pictures. Each picture took 5 seconds to get the exposure right, and then I had to move each individual thing little by little. It took forever, but it was so worth it. And as Sticky Brick says, that scene turned out fire. So I'm glad you all enjoyed it because I really did too. No clue what I'm gonna do with all these extra glow sticks. I definitely bought way too many, but maybe I'll be able to work in some fun dark scenes in future videos. Who knows? And before we get to the next game, if you're enjoying this video, please subscribe. That took way too many takes. But I know a lot of you aren't subscribed to this second channel here. You can double check if you are. And having that number grow helps me to get you more regular bonus content like this. But anyways, this is the gambling machine. I got it again. Come on. This was inspired by some Google image I found that some eagle-eye commenter on the community post said it looked like Big Bonus Bass or Big Bass Bonus, which apparently, yeah, it's a dead ringer, I guess, with this lime green top and the teal at the bottom here. I showed how I did this in the video, but I said it wrong. I said diameter instead of circumference. I'm so upset. All my geometry teachers are crying. But again, as with all these games, it took so long to individually make each little graphic for each little number thing, including the 10,000 jackpot, which you guys are so close to getting Baby Benny his minion anyways. You're over 5,000 at the time of this recording, and you're probably gonna get it like before this video is posted, so well done. That'll be in a future main channel video. But anyways, this wheel is held in here using an axle, and it doesn't have any connections to it, so it can freely spin like that. But you can also add this connection to it that locks in the axle, and this allowed me to add this motor on the outside of the arcade that I could always have the gambling machine running in the background and not have to worry about it, which I just thought was the most hilarious thing, to just always have him running that. It did look kind of cursed to have this thing hanging off the side of the building in certain shots. I try to hide it as best as I can, but what's even more cursed is this next game, Gun-Z, or maybe that's just pronounced Guns, I don't know. I really like how this one came together. This is one that did not look like Pac-Man. It was a completely original design. Not using original artwork though. Shout out Legendary Panettope for this cool zombie thing. I added the crosshair thing. everything. But anyways, these little guns work perfectly. Oh, those are the same pieces used in Whack-A-Mole. I just realized that. But yeah, the hole there allows the gun to just be inserted in there. This amazing little console thing. And this is like in there at an angle. This is actually really wonky. Oh no, more tape. But yeah, we've got a jumper clip to hold the guns, and then a jumper that fits in the middle of that. And the reason that tape's there is to like block off the light, because those you could see straight through here like you can with a zombie. And most of that's just hid by the fact that these things are so long. We've used all different types of zombies in this build. We got the mini zombie from the Zombie Spawner Minecraft set, minifigure scale zombies in this cool post-apocalyptic set I made for this scene. I love how the girders and bricks tie this all together. And I use the same TV tech to display a cool like city background behind this that I used in the zoo video. And we'll see that used a couple more times later in the video. And yes, to that one person commenting, yes, I used creeper faces, but if Dude Perfect can do it, so can I. You don't have to hurt my feelings like that. I guess there was also this baby zombie in there for like one shot, but then I realized I didn't want to animate him in the loop that I did, because it already took like an hour and a half to animate the zombies like running at Val to have her shoot him. But I didn't want to have this in the mix because I was able to loop it kind of, so that lessened the work a little bit. And this little bugger would have not made that possible. But the final size of zombies is the big guy himself, this cursed thing. So I took the head from the big fig zombie because this thing it's not bad enough, right? This is like barely bigger than the minifig, so we needed to do a little bit more with that. So I took the head, which is on this mixel ball joint, and made this terrifying body. We got longer legs, we got creepy, like, I don't know what this is, like arm hair, and then the claw fingies, and this opposable neck. It could have just been fine like this. Well, that looks, he just has no neck, and so maybe that's weird. But I gave him this like scarily long neck, and that's even worse somehow. But that's not bad enough. I needed to add these teeth, which kind of just look like a neck beard under his face. Like, I don't really know where his mouth is. So he's got teeth coming out from the bottom of his neck here, and there's like, you know what? That's not enough either. We need to add goat horns. I don't know what we were thinking with this, but it did the job. It understood the assignment, and it was a very cursed final boss for this really cool scene. Wait, I wonder if I could like put all the appendages on the small body. Hold on. Yeah. This guy never skips leg, arm, or neck day, but apparently he skips chest days. This, honestly, you know what? Which one do you prefer? Comment below. Basketball's not really cursed, it's just fun to make trick shots in. Dance Dance Revolution was almost cursed. I did have to cheat a little bit. I only had one of these blue arrow tiles, so I had a permanent marker Sharpie this. But the screen has these little arrows, which are actually Lego versions if you like really squint. I don't know if actually the printer printed the detail there. But no, I took pictures of these red and blue arrows that I built out of Lego, and then I sized and spaced them out. But I was actually going to animate this and make it move like on screen and like time it with people dancing on the arrows. That would have taken me several hours. So I'm glad I didn't do that. It was fine as is. But I love this little sign with the lights and everything, and the screen tilted back. Technically it's supposed to have like a 2-player mode, but you know what? I like the bigger arrows rather than having this be just massive. So this is good enough. And then I can use this on thumbnails. Let's go. This one, the Street Fighter game, is awesome. This Ninjago set is just so cool. I love this box. How did they do this? Or why did they do this? It just seems so extra. With like the D-pads and the buttons on there, all the cool stickers, and then there's like all these weapons and stuff for the thing. You know, being the little gremlin that I am, I did call these guys by the wrong name on purpose in the video to get people to comment on it. And then this guy, what's this guy's name? Ryu with the headband. Keeps falling down over his eyes. He's got these muscles, courtesy of Florida Man. Shout out Republic Studs. I should have gotten another figure that was a good Ken muscles, because he's kind of a weakling compared to this guy. But I also want to shout out this amazing Street Fighter game that someone built that actually works. Like you can do combos on it by like spinning the figures and like punching them together. That's just insane. The only other thing to share about this is like, why is the instruction, it's so big. Like it keeps going, it fills up the screen. Why did they make the instructions for this tiny set just massive? Also, can someone explain why Kai is blonde here? Is he just like a gamer? Or is that the reason? Only a few more games to go before the final, most cursed one. But we got the strength test game here that you can actually play as a human. And I went in and yoinked the strength test game from the Farmer Fair video and just copied and pasted it with new like video game characters as the different levels. So I tried my best, my brother helped, to get the power scaling down. It's probably completely wrong, but see what score you can get, comment below. And there's no particular reason why I put Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on here. I just thought it was funny. Like this next one. There's no particular, no, there is a particular reason this minion, which is, by the way, they do make minion claw machines, and that's where this image is from. I was going to put Despicable B3. I thought about that after I'd already printed it, but that would have been perfect. Anyways, there is a reason for this, because I was able to tie it in with the gambling Benny storyline. But that reminds me how I was finally able to build an arcade 2 years later for my man Cornelius. Is this the original? Yep. The first video of 23ville, I used this Muppet floor of the Muppet Skyscraper as like a proof of concept arcade, because I couldn't fit an arcade in the movie theater. And I had this simple little claw machine that's very similar to this in there, but now I finally made that dream come true. The only thing I wish I was able to fit in the arcade was a bowling alley. So now I guess if the pattern's correct, I'll build a bowling alley standalone in 2 years and leave something off of that I'll do in another 2 years. But you know, I may have a soft spot in my heart for bowling pins, so we gotta bring it back somehow.
Well, that game was definitely rigged.
Skee ball is such a satisfying technique using this 2x4 brick. It does look a little bit cursed from the back, kind of like this one, I guess, to get the whole technique going there. It's clipped in there with a clipped bar. This ramp here is just achieved using one of those hinge plates inside there at an ever so slight angle. These stickers came in clutch. Some point Dexter out there hopefully knows what this is from. Does it say sphere? I don't know, let me know. And then I debated putting these wedge plates on the side because it does make it look a little bit like messy, but I think it looks very clean, I guess, similar to the inspiration photo for this. But it feels like it's missing something. So if there is a better compromise, I probably would have done that, because those gaps in the wedge plates kind of look not great. But it's cursed now. Ooh. To be honest, Defender definitely wasn't my first choice for a space-based arcade game. I probably would have gone with Space Invaders, Galaga, or shout out to Boss Connian. I might unlock a childhood memory for some of you, but I had this thing growing up that you could plug and play to the TV with a bunch of games. Pac-Man, Dig Dug. I really wish I was able to build Dig Dug for this video. And of course, Boss Connian, which is like a more advanced, in my opinion, space game. But, you know, LEGO made this in the LEGO Dimensions pack or whatever, so it just made sense to use these. I don't even think Defender machines were originally green, and they kind of clash with the Frogger machine, but you could always color swap this set to be red if you were a content farm wanting to shamelessly steal my video idea and thumbnail and comments. But that's just hypothetical, of course. But the sprites I built to simulate this game is where it's really at. This is like the most iconic arcade symbol ever. It's on this guy's shirt, this guy's pants. It's like the arcade emoji if you type it into your phone. And so I thought it would be really fitting to have it on the middle of the window to give it a little bit of flavor. This thing is the ship, I think, from Galaga, and I added this little cockpit in there, so it's kind of like a 3D thing, but it's really meant to be viewed in 2D, and I really like how it looks. It's always kind of a puzzle. Yeah, it's always kind of a puzzle fitting these together because it's only 2 layers thick, so the top layer has to be pixel perfect, and the bottom layer, it keeps falling apart, has to be that same shape, but all connected together. So you have to overlap all of the studs, and some of them aren't that strong of a connection, but some of them, you know, you have to do how it works. But I also made an orange ship for no other reason, just I thought it'd be funny if Qbert was randomly there in the space chase. They were chasing against this alien. I did have to steal some of the green studs, yeah, there's one green stud and some of the black studs missing. I don't have enough of the 1x1 plates in green or in lime or black. So this one, and especially this one, definitely seem a little bit cursed now, because I had to take pictures of these one at a time that I could like painstakingly animate. That scene was one of the longest to animate because I had to like every individual explosion and laser blast or whatever, like that was all done kind of by hand. Well, I copy and pasted some of it, but yeah, it was a lot. And some honorable mentions before the final most cursed video game. We've got the Crossy Road Chicken. I definitely did not need to make it this big. But it's fun. Wreck-It Ralph and Fix-It Felix Jr. with his awesome golden hammer. I love this guy's hands and especially feet. I love how the toes came out. He's got some stuff going on in the back there. His head, you know, I did the best I could with the scale I'm going at. The buttons, the little collared shirt, and the overalls. This turned out really great. And then the arms are able to swing, so he's able to wreck the recreation of the building I made from the movie. So that's all that's left of it. I'm very, very happy with these Pac-Man cherries I made using these dome pieces back to back with a Technic pin. And the stem is made up of 2 of these plant pieces connected together with a carrot top that goes through both the holes. It's just so cool. Wait, didn't Ralph like feed Qbert a Pac-Man cherry in the movie? Am I like imagining this? Didn't this happen? That wasn't even intentional. There you go. The Sparkzilla claw piece worked great as the elevator basically for the arcade. And if I was really ambitious, there's actually a lot of extra room. Oh yeah, the sign is like 1 brick wider than it needs to be. So it's connected using all these janky jumper plates like this. But what I was going to say is the roof here has a lot of empty space up top here. Look at all that. And I definitely over-engineered this. It didn't need to be this clean inside. But what I could have done is put some sort of mechanism to control the claw up at the top top here and actually have that as a permanent feature of the arcade. The hole in the floor is still permanent. That you can see Ralph in there. That's beautiful. But I didn't feel the claw was worth my time to do a 2-second bit with. Although I've done more for less before. And this doesn't have anything to do with anything, but I really like how smooth the backside of the roof ended up looking. And these sets worked as perfect backdrops for the different video game competitions in the story of the video, with this being an alternate build of the Noodle Shop set with a custom Todd Todgers and Billy Mitchell minifigure. Let's look at this guy. I had to painstakingly cut out that USA flag, and he's got the perfect hairstyle, the perfect fit, and he just looks like he wants to sue me. So I'm gonna put him off screen. He is the greatest video game player of all time, according to him. So I'm not gonna defame him in any way, shape, or form, or Todd. But speaking of Billy, let's move on to the main event, Donkey Kong. I really love the Donkey Kong sets that we built on stream, with a minecart level, Funky's flights, and all the cursed looking characters. I have wanted to use some of these pieces to build certain other Kongs that I could make a Donkey Kong music video with for like 2 years now, and I still haven't found the time to get around to it, but someday it's gonna happen, I promise. But for now, the best I can do is this guy. The most cursed character in this video, a giant Donkey Kong mock that's like 5 times bigger than the original. Technically, he shouldn't have the tie because that was added in the country games, and the arcade version, he was just bare-chested. But I was proud of the tie I made using a Lego rubber band to clip it onto his neck there. And the front of it is just printed out. But let's talk about those abs. I used a bunch of these cheese slopes and some jumper plates to sculpt and chisel them, adding all the gaps in the right places, and these corner round plates to round it out. The arms are a little bit janky. I didn't want to make them posable for the video, so they couldn't be as good as they could be if it was just gonna be a static image. Unfortunately, Mixler joints only come in gray colors, so that's unfortunate. And then there's this giant gap in between here where you can allow for a little bit of posability. And then I really love these hands. We got a thumb and 4 opposable fingers here, which I ended up wiggling in one of the stop motions. That made my brother uncomfortable. I don't know. How'd you feel about it? I thought it was a thumbs up, if you ask me. But now that I'm looking at this, I do wonder, can you just connect the hand directly to the body? There we go. Oh no. You want banana. You want now. The legs are just okay. The feet definitely aren't as good as Wreck-It Ralph's feet, but these inverted slopes on the back help him to stand up actually. Cause without him, it'd be even worse. Some more cheater tape on the back. This again is not necessary. I can even take this off, but I think this was falling off in a couple of the scenes. Yeah. The bottom of those legs here are, how is this built? If you take this back off, you can see the edges of his chest here are angled using our favorite type of hinged plates here. Like, it's such a slight angle, but it makes a ton of difference. And then those are closed in with these wedges, minimizing the gaps that you see. And then I went way harder than I needed to with this head. It's kind of a mix between the country games, or the Donkey Kong's modern style, and his kind of arcade look. But I of course had to get the teeth in there. These eyes look so much meaner than they do. Actually, I've never tried this. Oh, he's shocked. Wait, I think I can make him sad too. Oh no. Donkey Kong's sad. He's gonna do the thing like in the country games where he goes, no, no, no. Like the video because Donkey Kong is sad, and if you like it, he won't be sad anymore. Oh no. Oh yeah, I texted this to a few people. You can also remake the monkey no peeking emoji, so that's kind of fun. But anyways, yeah, his ears are just clipped on the back here with a round plate covered in some tiles. His head is once again built completely sideways with the studs being on the bottom here and then the top here. This is just the hero of the video. We've used this in Whack-A-Mole, we've used it in the zombie game, and it works as a perfect nose for this man. And the shaping of the mouth comes down to these 2x2 angled bricks. They are amazing. But that's not all. I finally brought to life an idea I had like 2 years ago in 22ville, the YouTube screen video, where I said I've always wanted to make a Donkey Kong mock with these red girder pieces. And make it I did. I had these first dozen or so from a garage sale that was pretty cheap, but all these new ones I had to buy were like $2 a piece, so it was definitely not cheap, but it was so worth it to have this thing come together. Unfortunately, I didn't buy enough to have all of it together at once. I was considering only having the things like be really short, but that wouldn't have given much distance for the barrels to roll down. So I decided to lengthen them and only film like 3 beams at a time. So I had this janky setup in front of the TV. I filmed a few scenes of that where I used the TV as the blank background. Blank as the blank black background, there we go, that kind of caused a cool reflection on some of the scenes. But I clipped these all together between two of these black beams that kind of blended into the background and filmed the majority of that sequence of scenes actually on that set. The only thing that was fully edited was the completely zoomed out shots. And then some of the stop motion, of course, was green screened on. But I had a whole bunch of these barrels. Oh no. That happened a couple times. Oh no. I had a whole bunch of these barrels made using two of these half barrels connected by a Technic skeleton. And it was the most annoying thing trying to roll these down the girders. Oh, didn't get it. Nope. There we go. But one of those broke in half as soon as it hit the ground. And they were doing this left and right, and you can't just put them back together like this. You have to take apart the skeleton and pull them together and put this on that. It's a whole thing. So I was very thankful to have a big supply of them ready to just like go one after the other until I got the right one that I was able to layer. And this entire scene took me like a week, like just total, to film, plan, edit, build it. It was insane, but worth it. I find it absolutely hysterical just how many comments there were saying, oh, is the ending inspired by Pixels starring Adam Sandler? And surprisingly, no. I had never actually seen Pixels starring Adam Sandler until I watched a clip of it, the very ending clip, like after I'd already planned out this video. I think we were both just inspired by Donkey Kong the game. I had the idea for the characters to go through a Donkey Kong level and fight the big man himself at the top long before I even remembered Pixels starring Adam Sandler was even a thing. And maybe, you know, there's a thing where like, oh, Pac-Man's a bad guy in this one and he's a bad guy in Pixels starring Adam Sandler. Or I even had Cubert in this video and he was in Pixels starring Adam Sandler. So I guess I can see the connection. But no, that was not intended at all. That was a complete coincidence. Which, by the way, could you do me a favor? If you see any of those comments on the video, can you just reply, you mean the one starring Adam Sandler? Because I think it's so funny to like specify for some reason. I also built this cursed Adam Sandler minifigure here from the movie Pixels starring Adam Sandler. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you got some background information on this video here, which you can watch right now if somehow you haven't seen it yet. Or if I eventually someday hopefully make that Donkey Kong music video, that'll be right here too. But until then,
like and subscribe to the B2 YouTube channel.